Hey guys, gals, welcome to a glitch update. It's been forever. Um, so yeah, just gonna go through a few things that have changed in the last few months. You can see here a little bit of a different visual direction. So the idea is to finish the game, and making the pixel textures was kind of causing me to procrastinate a lot because it kind of takes a level of it's just harder using these kits that are available on the marketplace is kind of a lot of fun, and I think I can finish the game maybe even this year. We're using these, it's kind of going to make the process of finishing levels a bit easier. That said, it has its own challenges. I need to, blocking volumes on things need to be set up to make sure the levels are really playable. And you need to, if you come and look at what I've done so far, it's kind of dodgy. If you look at it a little bit closely, it needs a lot of love where these meshes get placed. So ideally they'd all fit together nicely and seamlessly and then be covered in blocking volumes so that you don't snag on anything. This is kind of a first pass where I just work out which meshes I'm going to use, and I'll do all those things. But if I upload a build, everything in it's going to be pretty playable. So yeah. Alright, so that's the visual direction. I've been working on getting faster, better input in the game. The input is pretty good, especially in a Unreal Engine game, which people often say is difficult to get good input or has a lot of display lag or input lag out of the box. So one of the reasons we started off with a really basic visual system, like at the beginning without even any lighting, was so that it could run in a very lightly and not buffer frames and get a huge, nice mouse feeling. It's all right. This game is not GPU bound at all, unless you're on like a Intel HD or whatever. So it's going okay even with a bit of lighting. I don't use any dynamic lighting except for some small lights like on the pickups, which you can turn off selecting potato there, and that will turn off all dynamic lighting. But even without that, I don't use skylights or things that no reflection captures at all in the game. Nothing that means extra visual passes. Righto. Alright, what else we got? Yeah, so this is the meshing of this level is work in progress, but you can play it. It is a little bit, this is Spire. It is a bit different already from the one you've known, not too much difference. I think it's a little bit improved, but the idea is not to change the levels very much in the meshing process, or even use as much as possible the existing BSP as blocking volumes. Now, if you, on the topic of input, if you want the best possible input, use potato mode, because it's much lighter on the GPU, and the chances are that, let's say you're running it, you want to run it 120 frames a second. Now, there's 120 frames a second with a large amount of overhead in what your GPU can accomplish, and that way you're going to be getting faster frames because, or less display lag or input lag, because you're not buffering frames. So you can have 120 frames a second, but your GPU is kind of struggling or maxing out, and it may be using buffered frames, like up to 3 of them. So you're gonna, even though you're getting full frames, but the input that you experience is not the same. You saw a triple jump, but I will explain that shortly. Yeah, so that will give you the best, unless you've got an absolutely amazing GPU where it's always going to have heaps and heaps of overhead. That will give you the best input. Now, if you do have an amazing GPU with heaps and heaps of overhead and you want extra fast input, use this. Most cards will struggle with that. It basically kills. It does a couple of things. Activates a couple of engine options. One is finish current frame, and the other one is turns off 1 frame thread lag. Both of which effectively clean up, bring the what is displayed closer to the game thread. Which also means without all the buffering, it's having to work harder to push the frames out faster. So if you see up in the top left, my frames, I've got it set at 240, and you can see that it's struggling. If I was to turn that off, it's still struggling. But yeah, you can always use screen percentage as well to try and get it down. It's not too bad. Okay, and potato is definitely helping. You can see there too, up in the top right. Sorry. Yeah, the frame counter struggles without potato. Struggling with potato. What's it struggling? Must be struggling with this thing. Teleporter. No. Anyway, if you can actually use Shift and 0 or to set time at 50%. Or Shift and 9 to put it back to 100%. And if you are running, it'll release the frame cap. It's just a bug at the moment. If you want to see how much frames you're actually possibly can get with your current settings, use Shift then 0, then Shift and 9. That's right shift to uncap them. If you want to Okay, so the recording I was just making cut off halfway. I was about to start talking about movement, and I'll say what I was going to say much faster than I just did because I already said it. Circle jump, it works. It should just work. I won't explain to you how it works, but just to say that it is a bit of a hack, but in practice it works. One day I'd love to have what the freak? I'd love to, yeah, this is what you get for not having proper collision, just using the collision that you get on the meshes. Yeah, one day I would love to have a custom character movement thing coded, but at the moment it's a kind of a hack on top of Epic's default character movement thing, which is not designed for a fluid game like a Quake style game. Alright, circle jump works, there we go. So you can see I get up to 1400 pretty quick, as opposed to not circle jumping and just strafe jumping around. It takes a while, or even just not doing either and just running and jumping. It does build up very slowly. Alright, yeah, so circle jump. Okay, now we got triple jump as well. Triple jump is a triple chain, 2 step jumps chained together. So, work in progress, but for example, that's a bit slow. If you do, friggin' hell. Hello, I'm not actually landing on that thing. Jesus, what's wrong with my step jump? Alright, that should be way easier than that. Yeah, so if you do a second step jump within a certain amount of time, it will should be doing it. Anyway, it will do it. Or maybe I need to extend the time that you can do it. You can also chain them together here. Anyway, you can get up there. It's possible. else do I want to say? Yeah, just a little thing on the netcode. It's going to be peer-to-peer for a while. I'm kind of committed to making it seamless. The game is not... It's meant to be played between friends. Of course, any game should be able to be played competitively, but dedicated servers are just completely out of my reach, especially at the moment. Maybe down the track, you know, if it's possible and there's enough support behind the game. Yeah, but at the moment, it's peer-to-peer. Now, I'm constantly trying to look for ways to improve the netcode so that it works. I want it to be seamless under 100 ping, like, as in it will not alter the outcome of game. All hit scan is client side, so it actually is not really a benefit to either server or client player. Yeah, you may not have seen the slide, but the slide's a cool thing too. You just use it for timing jumps, like slide up to a ledge to do the jump correctly. And what you just saw was a double telly jump, yeah. Which is what you use here to get across this. Sliding's not working on the ground. Let's fix that. But anyway, you should be triggering the slide by pressing slide before you land, which is the way it makes sense, because slide is for getting around things quickly, and if you land before you slide, you're not going to be going quickly anymore. So it's about maintaining speed around corners, like so. Alright, that's all I want to say, I think. So, you know, thanks for glitching. Glitches.